Awesome. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Brian. It's Friday. Uh, just gathering my thoughts, thinking about the weekend. I don't know if it's because I'm older, but the weekend seems to go faster now. And so, yeah, just kind of sucks. Good thing is I will see a friend of mine on Sunday. He's flying down from Seattle, recently separated from the company that he works for, but managed to find a job even in this job market pretty quickly. So I'm very, very happy for him. And he went through a bit of doing to come to a good place to get away from what was causing him issues. And so very happy that he is going to hopefully be happier in his current position. So yeah. Found there's some news that came out, I think, yesterday about Sentinel-1. If those of you who are unaware of that, it's a company that does endpoint security protection. So, I wouldn't say run of the mill, but it is a security company. And they hired Chris Krebs from CISA, who had made comments about how the election in 2020 had been the most secure that it had been. And if we do the Socvel, I think it's one of the questions in the list, but apparently everybody at Sentinel-1 have now lost their security clearances because somebody didn't like the comments made by Chris Krebs, and because Chris Krebs now works for Sentinel-1, those people have now been affected negatively by the regime, if you will, that was unhappy with the outcome of the 2020 elections. So there's a lot of fallout happening from that. There's a lot of people that are probably hurting because if they were working government contracts or required a clearance, they no longer can do that now. Perhaps that will get reversed. I hope that gets reversed, but it's just feels petty and childish, and I feel bad for the folks that are working at Sentinel-1. Chris Krebs, for all intents and purposes, seems like a good guy. I don't have any reason to doubt that from people in our industry, and obviously working for the government is a hard deal. So I hope that he has. I hope this gets resolved, because obviously the government uses a lot of different software, whether it be CrowdStrike or every government agency probably has evaluated a specific endpoint security provider and has used that. And the fact that now they can't use that, or they have nobody to manage their data, whether it be secret or classified or what have you, is painful. So yeah, it's just interesting to see the pettiness of our not industry, but the people that are running our country. Let me see. I need to add my terminal to. There we go. Okay, and I will move that up here. So, last stream I was working on some Python stuff, and I finished the Python course. I will go back and actually show that answer. I ended up having to go into the Discord and asking questions about the exercise. I actually went and found a similar thread because, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I said I don't want to go to the Discord and figure that out, but even the people who moderate the Discord said that the answer to that was a bit on the janky side. And so not using join in Python, having to implement basically your own join, is problematic and complicated. So Oh, right. I will transition myself over. Doink. There we go. So I finished the course. When you finish the course, you get 8,000 experience points. So it's like you defeated a boss or something like that. I actually managed to make it, get myself a 5,000 XP chest from that, which was great. I finished the Linux one as well, which was, in my opinion, super easy because I already know Linux, and you know so the list of things when you're going through this said, you know, learn code in Python, learn Linux. The Linux stuff was like, find this value inside this text file using grep. So grep-i, you know, looking through a file for a certain thing. None of that was overly complicated. If you've ever done over the wire, yeah. If you've ever done Bandit on over the wire, yeah, war games. If you've ever done Bandit, and what it does is that takes you through the Linux command line, learn how to SSH. If you can solve this, you can pass the Linux stuff very easily. I mean, I've been using Linux and the command line for years, so it wasn't a huge deal for me. I understand that some people who grew up in the GUI world were gonna have that kind of issue, or they would have those issues. So learning Linux is important, and you learn a lot from it. When you complete that, when you get 4,000 experience points, which I just cashed in this morning, which is why I have the 4,000 in the list there. So now I'm learning Git. But let me go back to the I think it was this one here. Okay, so there's actually a couple of ways that they showed in the Discord on how to solve this issue, and let me maximize this. So the only line they gave you for the exercise is this right here. And then, the idea is you want to join, use the join strings function, take a list of strings, returns a new single string. The new string is a concatenation of all the input strings from the list end to end in order with a comma between them. So let me pull up let me make sure I don't have my VS Code running. Okay, that's cool on the screen. Let me see. Yeah, here's the one that made the most sense to me. Copy. And I did a really good, I hope I did a really good job of explaining that here. So in this case, just to give you an example, so we hit run, and you see the code. This list is so important. This list so important, and minus the comma at the end. So in this one, you initialize an empty string because you want an empty string to be able to output the information that you've got going there, and then you're going to do very similar down here where you're going to say for string in strings, and then so you're going to iterate through each. Through the input, through the list here, which is this list is so important. Those are the sentence, if you will. You're going to take the answer, which is an empty string already, and then you're going to iterate through each word or each string, and then you're going to append a comma. So you're concatenating the string elements and then a comma. So that's with no space, right? And then you add that back to the answer, which once you've done it the first time, you get this, and then you're going to get list, and then a comma, and then this comma, list comma, is comma, so comma, important with no comma at the end. Now, with this, if you didn't add this little bit down here, the -1, and basically what you're saying is this is a range. You're figuring out a range, so you want the first and the last element, and then -1. So it will, it'll do the answer minus the last element in the list. So what'll happen is it prints this along with a comma at the end, but then it says, oh yeah, by the way, take the answer and then remove the last character or the last character in the list, which in this case will be a comma. And so it does what it's supposed to. This is the way that somebody else had suggested as being the most complicated or the most elegant way. This one made more sense to me, where you initialize the empty string, building the final sentence. You're going to calculate the list of the length so you can determine when you're at the last item, but this also avoids the trailing comma. So you don't need the -1 because it's going to give you the list of strings. So a max range is the length of the string because the input here, it's including the commas in this case because there's no comma at the end of this. And so for X in range, max range, so we've set the max range. The range is going to be the maximum range. So range will be, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. Answer plus minus strings. So you're going to iterate through the strings for X. So every value in the range up to the maximum range is going to be strings, which is going to be added back to the answer, filling out the empty string up top. And then we'll check if the current string is not the last one. If it is not, append a comma. If X is the max range, do not append a comma. So in this case, there's a conditional if statement saying if X plus 1 is, so if the value of X, which is the max, adding to max range, is less than max range, chop, 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 where the alligator mouth is, answer plus minus or plus equals, add a comma, basically. Keep adding a comma until X plus 1 is less than max range, right? And then once it equals max range, just stop, right? So after the loop finishes, return the answer. And so these are the two different ways you can actually solve this issue. Taking a string of characters and adding them together like this. So yeah, that's what happened there. And so yeah, let me see. Oh yeah, so to give you an idea about the Linux course, you come in and it takes you through terminals, file systems, permissions, programs, input, output, and packages. So some of the last RTFM talks about the man pages. It takes you through everything like grep, learning how to use the grep command. Let me see, there's flags, positional arguments. So creating, so what they do is at the beginning they give you a zip file that you have to unzip into a directory somewhere that you can get to it. CD, run the ls command, but there's files inside and scripts and executables that you can run that they're not going to do anything malicious on your system. But you're going to modify the text, you're going to remove passwords that are found, you're going to do that kind of stuff. So yeah. And it teaches you the kill commands. This is some of the last ones I was doing last night. So malicious.sh, trying to use the Control-C to break out of the script, but for some reason it won't do that for you. So you have to open up another terminal and then run kill, trying to figure out, or PS to try to figure out which PID you need to find, or process ID, and then kill the PID, kill that PID. And then you get an error message, or you get a when you first hit Control-C, it gives you an hey, this isn't going to work, or it gives you the flag when you try to hit Control-C. And then killing the PID allows you to kill out of the process, and then you just copy paste that in. So yeah, this went really quickly. The last thing they teach you about is the package managers and stuff like that. So if you're using APT or Brew, if you don't have Brew on your Mac OS already, you install it basically for this, and then you install something called you install NeoVim, but you also install something called LSD, which is an upgraded version of, let me see, LSD. It's supposed to, give you cool little icons and show you a tree view of what's going on in your system and what have you. I don't need it, but they made you install it anyway. I don't think you use it after this point, but it is what it is. So Yeah, NeoVim. I use VI. I don't need to use Vim or NeoVim, but you can install it if you need to. There's some questions in here about apt and brew and whatever. Oh yeah, here's LSD, a more modern version of the next gen ls command. So if you're interested in that, I can pop that up for you. It does things like, give you a nice colorized output, gives you some fancy icons that'll actually allow you to change your font size or font types to display in a certain method or manner. Oh, hey Walt, sorry. Just read the GSA Heather mag tape backup system replacement digital backups. Doge said it'll save money not using tape. I could imagine that it is very costly to buy tape. Digital backups in the cloud, depending on which cloud they're using. I know that a few years ago, Walt, to your point, the DoD had Jedi, which was the Azure implementation for the DoD. Before that, I worked on a project called the Navy Marine Corps Intranet, and that was way back in like 2009, 2010. Actually, it was earlier than that, but this was before the cloud, right? Everybody was, this was, we had physical data centers at military bases all over the world that would and we managed our own Active Directory across a massive organization. NeoVim is easier to write plugins for and seems to be better supported. I'm good with Vim. I'm good with VI or Vim right now. I'm sure NeoVim is lovely. I have yet to actually use it. Yeah, I mean, I've never had to worry about I think I actually uninstalled NeoVim once I installed it because there was no reason to keep it on my system. But yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually supposed to see some friends of mine from when we implemented NMCI back in 2001 at the Navy base I was at the command that I was at. First PKI implementation rolled out to all the military folks when we got our new ID cards. Back in the day, you used to have a nice green card for your military ID, and then they moved us to basically like your credit card has a smart card chip on it now. We had those back in 2001 for the Navy. And you would use them, you'd plug them in a little slot on your laptop, and you could log in with that with a PIN. Which was supposed to be more secure. I didn't hear anything bad about the technology. It seemed fairly solid at the time. It was just a pain in the ass to implement and make right. Now, in 2020, even in 2020 or in the mid-2020s or mid-2015, 2016, when the cloud was more ubiquitous, it wouldn't have been a huge issue at all. So, yeah. Yeah, thanks for the confidence there, Walt. I told him on my feedback these first three are probably going to be the easiest ones I've got. Once you start actually doing a project where you're building something, I don't know what a bookbot is in Python, but that's where things are going to and I'm going to just grind to a halt, I think. So, yeah, I've got some stuff here to go through with regard to learning how to use Git. But yeah, it's a long road to hoe. At scale over the long term, I think tape is more reliable. I probably wouldn't disagree with that, but I want to say I have worked in IT for 20-ish plus years, and I have yet to actually restore backups from a tape. I mean, if it were required for me to do that now, I mean, I know how to use the tar command because that's what it's come from, tape archive. But I probably could not restore a box from a tape at this point. And in this day and age with containerization and what have you, why would you? If you're using the right technologies, your backups are, I mean, you're just restoring data. You're not going to be restoring whole systems. You're probably just going to build out your containers, or you're gonna build your OS, and then you're gonna take your databases or whatever, and then you're gonna relink them or what have you. I couldn't even imagine what it takes for folks to rebuild from tape today, let alone the technology. Besides, if the government does move to a more cloud-based solution, which they bought enough of them. I have made tape restores. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, if the data is important enough and you're backing it up to tape, then that's necessary. I would say in this day and age, you should probably have a tape backup just for whatever reason, but you should be looking into things like, Amazon Glacier or whatever Google has in terms of storage. Long-term storage for the cheap, or you just get a couple big ass hard drives. I mean, but hard drives are in the 22 terabytes now. I know they fail, but ideally, if you can lump them, here 22 terabytes is $289. So I know they fail over time, but if you have multiple copies of those, modern tape is 18 terabytes per tape. Yeah, okay. How fast is that? How much are DAT tapes? How much is DAT tape? Well, they're only $7.99. How big is that? What's the size on that? Oh, it's a 15-minute DAT tape. I guess they do them in minutes. How about backup tapes? Lifetime of DAT tapes. There you go. Yeah. Jeez. I'd hope they would be fast enough, but yeah. I mean, there's still some compliance requirements. LTO is the current technology. Yeah. Back in my day, we used DAT tapes. Linear tape open. Oh. Well, these are a bit fatter than the other ones. Okay. Yeah. 360 megs per second. 12 terabyte native storage capacity. 30 Would you? Do you compress your backups, Walt, or do you just I mean, I'd imagine compressing doesn't do much. I mean, if it was text or something like that, it might make sense. But if it's multimedia files or something like that, is it really worth the effort and time to back those up compressed? I'm just wondering, just out of my own edification, because I don't do restorations or backups or anything anymore. That's where the qualified IT folks work in that world. So, all right. Git base and git merge are different tools, right? So this whole section here was on whether or not to rebase or merge, and the video here was talking about how if you've got a feature branch and you have a main branch, and your feature branch is moving along with your main branch, and you don't want things to get stale, you can actually force your feature branch into your main. And I was like, won't that cause problems? Does it make it so that you don't have run into conflicts? Or what happens if C had some changes made to it that D clobbers or E clobbers? Does it because I would imagine you'd have to do some kind of testing on E, now that E is the main part of the branch, to ensure that you don't have any conflicts or anything going backwards. So I don't know. I don't run tapes anymore. Yeah, see, I would imagine tapes are fairly niche still, right? Because like most tech companies, they live in the cloud. So they live in Amazon or Microsoft or Google, and they have high availability, and they can do backups on the fly there, or they're using containers, or all of your data is backed up on your lead developer's laptop, which is super safe. It's super safe. Okay. So I just finished this one, which was add some quotes to a doc called Dune.md, and then so they do something interesting with at least the Git and maybe some of the SQL stuff that I learned while I was trying to move things around. You run this CLI application they call boot.dev, and you copy the you copy the hash into your command line, and then you run it, and it I don't know how they made this work, but it's fairly ingenious on how they check to make sure that you did what was necessary to be done, and get your proper output. So go next. And I still need what? I still need about, I got 18 hours to get another 600, I think, XP. So the advantage of merge is that it preserves the true history of the project. It shows when branches were merged and where. One disadvantage is that it can create a lot of merge commits. Let's put that down here. There we go. Wonder why chat is not showing up on the screen. My chat's the only one showing up on the screen. I wonder if the chat is broken. But for the GSA, I think the government should have multiple physical backups. At our current company, we are running everything in AWS, so backups there work for us. Sure. Yeah, I mean, the GSA is probably wanting to make sure that they don't lose their data. Yeah, I mean, you still have to have IT folks that are handling that stuff. And yeah, they should have backups for that. It would be awful if they lost all that data and couldn't get it back. And they'd left it in the cloud, or it was in the cloud previously and it got moved or got corrupted in some way. So one disadvantage is it can create merge commits, which can make the history harder to read and understand. Linear history is generally easier to read, understand, and work with. Some teams enforce the usage of one or the other on their main branch, but generally speaking, you'll be able to do whatever you want with your own branches. Okay? You should never, they put it in italics to allow for emphasis, never rebase a public branch like main onto anything else. So don't rebase main. You want to rebase what you're working on into main. Makes sense. Other developers have checked it out, and if you change its history, you'll cause a lot of problems for them. Okay. However, with your own branch, you can rebase onto other branches, including a public branch like main, as much as you want. So everything goes back to main, right? Nothing goes. You don't ever take main to the feature branch, or yeah. Okay, it's generally good manners to It's generally good manners to rebase a public branch under your own personal branch. True. Oh, wait a minute. Did I misread that? It's generally good manners to rebase a public branch onto your own personal branch. However, with your branch, you can rebase onto other branches, including a public branch like main, as much as you want. What? See, I don't... This said, however, with your own branch, you can rebase onto other branches. Oh, I got it mixed up. I got it flipped. Okay, so this is false. All right. How many armors do I have? Okay, I got some armors when I did that. I flipped it around. See, it's okay to merge your branch onto other branches, but don't merge branches into your Okay, and so it is generally okay to merge changes into your own private branch or to rebase your branch onto a public branch. Right. So right down here it says, however, with your own branch, you can rebase it onto other branches, including a public branch like main. So this one is true. And we're getting there. Okay. Next. All right. So we're going to do reset. Reset. So there's reset, remote, GitHub, and git ignore. So I'm assuming GitHub is, yeah, here's how to set up your own GitHub. Yeah, I have my GitHub already set up, so I'll have to, get that set up. But reset. All right. What is a reset? Undoing change. Oh, so you're, okay. For Git, we do a lot of rebasing with squashed commits in our branches when we're done with the story. Oh, and it doesn't mess up your commit history or anything like that. Do you worry about commit history at all? One of the major benefits of using Git is the ability to undo changes. Lots of different ways to do this, but first we'll start by going back into the commit history without discarding changes. Okay, so we have an assignment. The new intern at Webflix tried to add his favorite movie to titles.md, but overwrote the entire file by mistake. Okay, to simulate that on the update Dune branch, and I think, let me go see. Git branch. So, okay, we're in the update Dune branch according to, oh, wait, my bad. Let's move that over here. Scoot that over a bit because I don't need the whole thing. There we go. All right, so we're in the update Dune branch here. All right, so echo. Internship. Oh, wait, I'm not in the right directory. Oh, yeah, I am, okay. Echo. Internship. Titles.md. Oh, make sure the file is changed by running git status. Okay. Changes not staged for commit, right? Okay. Sorry, didn't commit to change it. Oh, okay. Git add titles.md and then git commit m and then you want J : I am the intern. You can put anything in there. The important thing is they want to make sure you have that J : so you can follow the list of things that are on the list there. Because when you do the output, then it will show everything. So I am the intern. Cuckoo cuckoo. All right. And then commit the changes. Use a commit message starts with J, right? Run and submit the CLI tests. If you've disabled clobbering and get an error saying the file already exists, use the okay instead to forcibly truncate the file. Okay, well let me double check. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Okay, so run and submit the CLI tests. All right, so these are the CLI tests that I want you to do. And so we go into, once the story is done, we like just one commit. While working on a story, I have lots of commits. It's like removing track changes or drafts. They are great while working, not as important when you're done. Walt, how do you deal with like change logs and stuff? If you've got, we never rebase, well, that makes sense. You never rebase the main branch. You probably never should rebase the main branch. You just want the feature branches to be added back to main. my question is though, we at work are having a requirement that's supposed to start because the EU is wanting more information in change logs in the next 18 to 24 months. So we're trying to get developers to not go, oh yeah, we released, version 217 minor fixes. It's like, well, what exactly did you fix? And it's kind of prevalent in the industry where it's like, you get minor fixes, but then you see a news story that they said, oh, they quietly pushed out a security update for something. And it's like, well, they didn't want people to know that there was actually a security issue. So, because my guess is that it would be easier for an attacker to know exactly what was fixed and in what commit or what have you. So from a security point of view, it's kind of okay, because you know that companies that use your product won't patch immediately, but the attackers will automatically know which patches to target or which versions to target. And, so there's an interesting dichotomy there where it's like you want to be more loquacious in your logs, your change logs, but by doing so, you're going to maybe let bad guys and attackers know what's going on. We join all of the changelog messages together into one larger commit message for the rebased commit. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So this worked. So what I do is I just hit this and -S because run and then submit. Technically, if I wanted to just run directly to the submit button, I could do that. But run just allows me to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes. Very similar to how the Python did, where you had submit, run, and then the solution. So the run allows you to see what's going on without running into issues. Ding. Copy to clipboard. Excellent. Oh, so close. I'm just right there. One more. Yeah, I gamed the system when I quit, or when I finished the Python. I was still like a few hours away from getting a new daily chest, so I didn't cash out my Python until the next day when I could get a 5,000 XP chest. And then like with the Linux one, I also didn't cash it out until I knew I could get another 1,000 XP on top of the 4,000 I'm going to get for that to get another max chest. What nobody needs is 8 commits that all read. What nobody needs is 8 commits that all read force build as well deploy on commit. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That makes sense. Okay, the git reset command can be used to undo the last commit of or any changes in the index staged but not committed. Uh-oh. Let me go back. Was I supposed to commit that? Oh no, I was supposed to commit the changes. Okay. I was afraid it only wanted me to make the changes and then like stage them but not commit them. So it wanted me to do that. All right. Staged but not committed changes, and the work tree unstaged and not committed changes. So git reset soft. That doesn't make any sense. No, that doesn't work. Soft option is useful if you just want to go back to a previous commit but keep all of your changes. The committed changes will be uncommitted and staged, while uncommitted changes will remain staged and or unstaged as before. Your current branch update dunes should be at commit J. Get the iCommit hash from git log. Okay. Then run git reset soft and include that hash. All right, so we want the soft hash for this one here. That's my guess. Copy. All right, quit. Git reset. Actually, we do it on git push. Let's see. Reset soft, and then that. Okay. Oh, and then let's go see git log. Okay, so looks like that worked. We're back to I. Quote, fears the mind killer. J should be gone from the commit log. Run and submit CLI tests from, well, okay, so that's great and all, but let's see, more titles. Yeah, see, it still shows that. I'm hoping at some point it'll be like, oh, you can reclaim, you know, based on the information, but all right, well, let's see. Right, okay, so that's good. That's good, okay, and then -S. Yay, I earned a daily chest. All right, I got 13 more gems, a couple of baked salmons for boots, and 1 XP potion. The fun thing about this is the baked salmons. I don't, you know, I can go through Git and you know, I can stockpile my gems if I need them in case my baked salmons, you know, I need more baked salmons. So I'm gathering resources. I didn't need anything for boots. I didn't need, and so I probably need them for everything else going forward. So you know. All right, so git soft reset, okay. Git reset hard. In the last lesson, we undid a commit but kept the changes. Oh, I see. We don't want to keep the changes to titles.md. Here's how to reset those changes. Git reset hard, commit hash. All right, so run git status to confirm a stage change that modified the titles.txt. So git status. I don't want DS to. I hate the one thing that annoys the fuck out of me about my Apple is the DS store files. Yeah. All right, so run git status to confirm a stage change that modified the. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay. Oh, I see. Git reset hard commit hash. Okay, so we need the commit hash back up here. Where's I? Git hash. Okay, so this hash is the one we want to get because it's the I hash. Copy. Okay. Git reset hard. We're going to go hard. And then I commit hash. And then undoes the changes. Check to make sure titles.mid is reset. Okay, head is now at blah. All right, now more titles. Hey, look at that. Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Man, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, quit. Git status. On branch, update Dune, nothing to commit, working tree clean. Woo! Run and submit the tests for your root, from the root of your Webflix directory. That's interesting. Why does it it's from the Webflix directory? Why did it suggest that directly? Did that say that before? I'm gonna go back here for a second. Okay, so run the CLI test from the root of your web. Okay, so it's always saying that. I just happened to catch the. All right, let me save that. I don't know why I do the run first and then the submit. I guess I want to make sure that the thing actually makes sense before I submit it. Because it does give you the output on the file. So yeah, so get expect code 0, standard out, none of, modified titles, cat titles, expect 0 titles, expect standard out to contain none of the internship, and then it cats the title, Benjamin Button. All right, so you can put the DS store files in the git ignore file, then git will ignore them in future commands. Yeah, I've actually had to do that in several programs like BitTorrent Sync, or not BitTorrent Sync, but Sync Thing, which is file service that I use for like an own cloud kind of thing. So you go in and it uses the BitTorrent protocol, but it will synchronize your files over an encrypted connection from one point to another. So I have right behind my MacBook over here, I have a main, like my backups, and it allows me, and it'll also work on my phone. So I save files on my phone and I can pull them off directly onto my computer without using something like SSH or NFS or some bullshit like that. So the problem is, yes, the DS store stuff, for some reason they get all janky, and so not a fan of those. And I've had to add those to the ignore thing. But to your point, yes, I will definitely include those, and that was the right answer, obviously. All right, so how much more do I have? Oh yeah, I've got a few more here. So I'm actually glad that I might actually go back through. One of the things I wanted to do was go back maybe through the Python stuff again, to kind of rehash some of the stuff I did in Grok the first time. Maybe see if I can do it without boots this time. But I am finding I just used an internal AI that we have at work, one of many, to do queries for HiveQL. Because I didn't know the first thing about HiveQL, and if you don't, HiveQL is a data warehouse system for Apache Hadoop, which is a key value pair storage. So it's a SQL-like language. I didn't know how to use it, and it's very similar to SQL, but it has some additional bits that you have to have. So an AI in this case was very helpful, because I said, well, here's the table I want to query. I need these fields, or I need these subfields, because this was a huge pile of shit that was set up. So I was like, I need to be able to pull this from this field, or this specific field from this field. So yeah, user-defined functions, or I need to pull this. So it was able to tell me a HiveQL query that actually worked. I mean, I just copy pasted right into the UI that I had to query this thing, and it worked like a charm. The only other thing was it spit out like 35,000 files or 35,000 rows, and some of them were duplicates. So I had to go back and I was like, hey, I'm seeing duplicates here. Can you modify the query so that I'm not getting duplicates? And it was like, oh yeah, sure. Here's how you do blah. And it's like, well, I was like, it's also taking 7 minutes to run this query. And it's like, oh, well, you have performance issues. Here's how you might clear that up. And so I haven't tried those yet, because it literally takes 7 minutes every time I was running that. So before I got on this afternoon, I was taking a look at how we might be able to make that a bit more performant, because that's for a report thing that we're running for metrics and whatever. So my data wizard, who I've been learning a lot from, has been very helpful. And I actually had some, I don't want to call it paralysis, but it was like I didn't know where to start. And she's pretty awesome, and she helped. She was, she has her own dashboard, or her own work spot in our system that, you can go and look at, like, queries that other people have used. So I went and looked at hers, and I was like, oh, that's how you format this thing. Okay, cool. So I took hers and I copy pasted it, giving her full credit to start, the initial query. So it's not like, hey, I figured this out by myself. And then I used the AI to say, okay, I need to get this field because this was a field that wasn't in her list, but I was like, we really need that. And yeah, over the course of the last hour and a half before I started streaming here, it was like, oh yeah, do this. And I was like, okay, cool. If it didn't take 5 minutes per query, I might have been able to get some more stuff done. So, but yeah, we're gonna have a meeting next week to talk about some of those things. So it's just really nice because it I was ignorant of how to use HiveQL, and it was just a nice way to get around it. So yeah. Yeah, it seems to do really well for things like SQL queries, Walt. Yeah, I find copying the table information into the query and then asking it to do blah, or if you're trying to match two tables up and you're like, I need please join these two tables, so it'll actually work that. Or if you have like multiple tables, in my case it was multiple tables, so I had like this database and this database and this database, and it was like I had to connect database C to database A through a unique ID and then A through B, but only after a certain condition was met. When I analyzed C to A, I would get a value that I could then match to B. And it was like, and it actually did pretty good. It actually figured that out. So it was pretty good. Anyway, there we go. Okay, I did this one, get reset hard, because my thing is lit up. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. I want to stress how dangerous this command can be. If you were to simply delete a committed file, it would be trivially easy to recover because it is tracked in Git. However, if you used get reset hard to undo committing that file, it would be deleted for good. Okay. Always be careful when using get reset hard. So it's like the equivalent of rm-rf, right? When used in the right way, it can get rid of things very quickly. When used in the wrong way, it can get rid of things really quickly. Create more problems than it's worth. Always be careful when using get reset hard. It is a powerful tool, but also a dangerous one. Reset to a specific commit. If you want to reset back to a specific commit, you can use get reset hard command and provide the get commit or the commit hash. For example, reset hard A1 B2 C3D. Okay, I can see that. So if I had used, say, if I had decided to remove, let's say I didn't use I's commit hash and had instead used G for the hard reset, I would have lost the H commit and the I commit and the J commit. So the intern would have lost his stuff, but we could have potentially lost, well, in my case, I'd lose 2 quotes, but in other cases, you could lose an entire feature, or you could lose an entire branch, maybe, depending on so I can understand why that's so powerful and why you don't want to be stupid with that. This will so get reset hard A1 B2 C3D. This will reset your working directory and index to the state of that commit, and all changes made after that commit are lost forever. Ooh. Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah. Okay, get reset hard. Undoes uncommitted changes, but keeps the changes stashed for safekeeping. No, it does that. That's right. It's basically nuke everything from this point forward. So, nukes are bad. Okay. When provided a hash, get reset hard moves your current branch back to an older commit and destructively discards uncommitted changes. Yes. Yep, I've used, okay. Let's see. All right, so now get remote. Often our frenemies. By the way, I'm getting off again, but apparently this guy who runs this site, along with some of the other folks in his teaching collective, if you will, there's a podcast. which I've started listening to. Back in Banter. It's been around for a while. They do various seasons. So you've got somebody coming in talking about Terraform to Ghost TTY. Learn how to win at learning, featuring Quincy Larson. So there's some not just developer stuff, but talking about rolling your own auth or your NGMI feature, featuring Dreams of Code. So take a look. They're all about an hour long, looks like. I just started. With most podcasts, the way I am, I always start at the first episode. So I started with OCaml. I'm not overly thrilled with OCaml, but it's just something you can go and read or watch if you are into weird developer stuff. So and also if you join their Discord, they do have a regular event, like Ask Me Anything kind of thing that they're working on. But they also have a YouTube channel as well. So you can go and listen, like here's a 7-hour Python course if you wanted to learn it this way, also Go programming. I know they're working on Rust as well. But later on in this, there's also TypeScript that you can learn. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So I will post that to chat if people are interested. I really feel like, maybe I should reach out to them and see if they want to, do something with me. Probably not. They're way too big. They already have, hundreds of people, thousands of subscribers. So, but yeah. All right. So, remote. Often our frenemies. Read coworkers make code changes that we need to begrudgingly accept into our pristine, bug-free repos. Sarcasm. This is where the distributed version control system comes from. We can have remotes, which are just external repos with mostly the same Git history as our local repo. When it comes to Git, the CLI tool, there really isn't a central repo. GitHub is just someone else's repo. Reminds me of that joke with the cloud is really someone else's computer. GitHub is just someone else's repo. Only by convention and convenience have we as developers started to use GitHub as a source of truth for our code. Create a second repo called Webflix Local as a sibling directory to our original Webflix repo. Use cd, mkdir, and git init to create a new empty repo. Okay, so we're going to, and then mkdir, Webflix local. cd Webflix local. Git init. Okay, so we have git initted our new local repo. Run and submit CLI tests from the inside the new Webflix local repo. Tip: the new repo's default branch should be main because that's what we set in our init.default branch config. Capitalization matters for testing. Be sure the original directory is Webflix and the new directory is Webflix local. Use mv to rename them if necessary. Okay. And a lot of this, and I understand why they teach you Linux now before Git, but I don't understand why they didn't teach Linux first and then maybe Python. Yeah, I don't know, but it's, Okay, so yep, we're in main. Yeah, git branch. Oh, okay, so yeah, we're still in main. And then S, we're gonna submit. There we go. All right, 378 XP, yeah. I really shouldn't waste all this XP on not being able to get chests and stuff. This really kind of sucks, but because once I hit that deal, I'm going to be sucking. So how many? Okay, 9 of 15 in a row. Okay. Once I hit that guided project, I'm going to be sucking real bad. So, because I've never actually built anything using programming code. As I've mentioned before, it's just easier to go and Google what's available and then build it, and copy and paste that, or run this application, or use a shell script or something. So, okay, next. There we go. In Git, another repo is called a remote. The standard convention is that when you're treating the remote as the authoritative source of truth, such as GitHub, you should name it the origin. By authoritative source of truth, we mean it's the one you and your team treat as the true repo. It is the one that contains the most up-to-date version of the accepted code. Okay. Git remote add name URL. Okay, inside our new repo, add webflix as a remote. Give it the name origin. The URI should just be a relative path to the webflix directory, in our case, ..webflix. Run and submit the CLI test from inside the webflix local. All right. Add name. So name is origin, right? And then .webflix. Not a lot of output there, is there? Should be, you'd think there'd be like a, hey, we've done that kind of thing, but there isn't. So, yeah. All right, well, says I should be able to run the tests. Okay. So, looks fine to me. Yes. They gave you the difficulty rating for these things. So this is a difficulty of 4. Some of the things in Git were like or in the Linux side, they considered like a difficulty of 7, but then they also had stuff in Python that was a difficulty of 7, and it was nigh impossible. I think the worst one I seen was like a difficulty of 9 or something. So it's interesting to see the difficulty levels they have for the various things. Like this is a 4, and that one was fairly easy. All right, we added a remote. Interesting. I guess you would want to do that. My concern is, what happens if you start doing something in this one versus the other one? I'm sure, we've got more dots here, so at some point they're going to be like, oh, you're going to be able to sync between those two and do whatever. So, yep. All right. Fetch. Adding a remote to our repo does not mean we automatically have all the contents of the remote. First, we need to fetch the contents. Before fetching the data itself, let's look at the new empty repos git or .git/objects directory with find. Okay. What's in there? Okay, there's a .git. All right. Now let's follow the instructions. There's only 3. Okay. Should be eerily empty with only 3 entries because we haven't fetched anything yet. In its current state, run and submit CLI tests from the, so, okay. Okay. Ding. Man, I really should not be wasting all this XP. Anyway. Oh, I made level 44. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Oh, the other thing, when you finish like Python or whatever, if you get 5,000 XP in a day, so if you've earned 5,000 XP, you get these things called embers, which keep your streak available for up to 2 extra days. So, oh, I don't have any more. Oh yeah, frozen flames. Oh, okay. They're going to use the embers before they use the frozen flames. That's what it means. All right, let's finish up chapter 9, and then we'll just call it a day. All right, now bring the remote webflix repo into our local repo, we have to fetch it. So we say git fetch. This downloads copies of all the contents of the Git objects directory and other bookkeeping information from the remote repo into your current one. Okay. Okay, sure. Run git fetch. Git fetch. Okay, that looks good. And then find .git objects. Oh, okay, there's been a few things added. All right. Okay. To see all the new objects that were fetched, run CLI. Okay. Okay, expect greater than 10 lines on standard out. So that's interesting. So the way that they're testing this is you should have at least more than 10 lines on standard out. And I mean, it's not the best way of figuring that out if you wanted to get around it, but I mean, to what end, right? So, all right. There we go. Excellent. Sorry, I heard what sounded like pew, 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 pews going on outside my window. All right, not fetched. Just because we fetched all of the metadata from the remote repo doesn't mean we have all the files. What? Okay. I see. Git log. Your current branch does not have any commits yet. Well, that makes sense. We haven't done anything, right? So git log fatal. Your current branch does not have any commits yet. All right. So we run that. Expect code 128. Exit code 128. Okay. Good to go. All right. So yeah, Git's very powerful. Hey, fix it. We're just in here learning how to do some Git commands through boot.dev. Yeah, I've never used Git before to any, necessary, to this degree. I mean, I've done some commits, I've done some staging. When I was learning Rust, I was running in VS Code and I would, stage and commit. But that's pretty much everything I did. I never did any rebasing. I've never done any of this, but because I'm learning to be a back-end developer, such as it is, the idea is you need to learn this in that way. So, all right. So I don't have any commits yet, which makes sense in the new remote. Yes, fix it, please. Git commit. I was playing Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm. Oh, very cool. Okay. Okay. I see a lot of people like GoPro, Slow-Yo, and all them. They don't always do security stuff on their channel, but I feel odd by doing something other than security or programming or whatever on my stream because I don't know. Do you ever find like, your channel fix it to be like you treat it differently than obviously than it's not all security all the time. So you're playing games, you do other things. You have another channel for it. Okay, so I have another channel for stuff that I do that is not security related either. I think I have. It's called Peerless Games. I think that's it. Oh, unwinding. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I have one. I think I call it Peerless Games. Let me double check that. Yes. Nope. That's my GitHub page. Wow, my SEO is working. That's good. I'll have to find it later, but yeah, it's on there as well. So yeah, I try not to cross the streams, right? Shout out. Yeah, I'll have to find it. Let me see. I thought I was following myself on. Let me see. Am I following myself? Shh. Okay, good. Don't. Shh. Oh, I'm not even logged in on my Twitch there. So, damn. Okay. Well, I'll shout it out online. So. So yeah, next. All right, log in remote. Git log command isn't only useful for your local repo, you can log commits of a remote repo as well. Oh, okay. Run git log on the remote. Okay. Git log. Okay, got some commits. Repos update Dune branch using the one line flag. Oh, right. Quit. So git log. Using the one line. Oh yeah. One line. The remote should be named origin from a previous lesson. Let me double check that. So get no pager log. There we go. Origin update Dune online. Ambiguous parent update Dune unknown revision or path not in the working tree. Oh, I see. There we go. I wasn't supposed to run it in the Webflix directory. I was supposed to, yeah. You can mess me here or on Discord. Okay. Ouch. I have to set up an SSH key, reinstall the Windows. Yeah. It's one of the biggest pains that reinstalling Windows. You forget to back up your keys, and then you got to recreate your SSH keys or what have you. Remote should be named origin. Okay, should contain all the following: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Yes, okay. This case, yep. Yeah, it takes like 2 minutes, yeah. And then scroll up, S. Ding, all right, excellent. All right, last one. Just as we merged branches within a single local repo, we can also merge branches between local and remote repos. Syntax is get merge remote branch. For example, if you wanted to merge the Primogen branch of the remote origin onto your local main branch. Okay, so the Primogen branch of the remote origin into your local main branch. You would run this inside the local repo while on the main branch. Okay, so we have a new local, right? Get merge origin Primogen. Okay. Assignment, merge the remote origin main onto the local repo's main branch. Because we're on an empty branch, we should get a nice clean fast forward merge. Make sure it worked with git log. You should see all the same commits on your local main branch as you do on the remote origin main branch. Whew. That's a lot of talking. Okay. Okay. Git merge origin main. Okay. All right, so we don't want update Dune on the law, so what we do is okay, I think that did it. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I think that's it. Expected standard out should contain all of WebFlix local. Okay, well, let's give this a shot. If this works, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. I am like a god, or something. I heard that somewhere. What's this? What's going on here? Oh, okay. I got another chest. Excellent. Yes, more gems and more baked salmon for boots. That's good. All right, excellent. Cool. All right. I think I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go get some dinner. Appreciate Fix-It for bringing in some folks and rating. Fix-It is always one of our good friends, and maybe we'll do some collaboration in the near future once I start, getting some code under my belt and learning how to, create a book bot, because that's the next big thing after, let's see, I've got at least, 10 and 11, which, yeah, I'm probably going to get through these this weekend, probably. And then I'm going to be on, like, being real, right? So it's going to be building a book bot, which builds your first local command line application in Python and use real-world tools that developers use every day, which is your first ever Python project. Yes, it would be my first Python project. A Python program that analyzes novels and prints a statistical report of the word and character usage found within. Learning goals are to configure a professional development environment on your local PC, practice building a full project from scratch, deploy a Python project on your personal GitHub account, and learn how to use a professional code editor. Oh, yeah, definitely learned how to use Git on this. So, yes, I'm cautiously optimistic that I'm going to be able to continue doing this as a developer thing. So, yeah, we'll see how the book bot goes, but yeah, I'm gonna get back to the Git stuff, and because I've actually kind of skipped ahead on some things. Like I already started learning SQL, which is number 16 on the list. The only reason I didn't continue with SQL was because some of the assignments they want you to do is from the previous stuff that you were doing. So, to kind of just skip around a little bit, but I'm thinking you don't, and then learn Docker. I went down to number 20 and was learning Docker, and there's a whole section on how to find a programming job, which I was just poking around in to see what they were doing there. So probably shouldn't have done that, but I'll, when the time comes for me to learn SQL again, I'll probably go through those 13 lessons again, and learning Docker, is everywhere. So anyway, thank you all for joining me. Appreciate that. Hope you have a good weekend. Stay safe and be kind to one another. Yeah, just go for the stuff you want to do. Exactly. I'm trying to. Plus, I'm going to learn how to build a Pokedex at some point for my Pokemon game. So, that's the important thing. But yeah, thanks, Fix-It. Appreciate you, and appreciate you bringing some folks over to learn. And yeah, hope everyone has a great day, great weekend. Take care. Be kind to one another. As we're fond of saying around here, you're the only you have. Okay, so take care. Bye, everybody.